Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Riverdale, Season 7, Episode 10.
Chapter 127, American Graffiti. I think just because of the car.
Okay. I think we're going to be a little bit, we're in a little bit of a time crunch, so we're going to be a little bit concise this time because we've been going long. Yeah. But we had a good episode, weird episode.
Super weird.
In a good way.
Yeah.
I am along for this ride.
Yeah.
It's so fun. 3 plots. We have Fangs and Midge. Fangs is still trying to become an overnight superstar, and that has to happen by the next time he sees Midge's parents.
Yeah. Because it's the only way that they'll let her marry him. And they presumably still don't know about the baby.
No. The time is a ticket. But he was going to be performing in Centerville,
yeah.
but it was like a really kind of a
seedy
sketchy
place.
Area, but everybody went, and except for us.
Except for us, we did not see it.
We didn't see it. Apparently it went off without a hitch, but it was just sort of an odd, omnipresence the entire episode to just kind of be like, bye, and then be like, whew, what a concert.
Yeah. Maybe they just didn't want us to have to watch him sing the entirety of Tutti Frutti again.
I like it. I am a little bit curious as to why we're getting an emphasis on Midge this season. Because, I mean, she's absolutely a character that, we had.
Yeah.
But,
she's never had this much plot.
No. Well, the way she was dismissed in season 2 always really rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
And so I can't decide if maybe the writers also feel that way, or if they're trying to correct some wrong or something, or if she is just destined to die tragically again, which would be bolder because she's pregnant.
Ugh. Yeah. Dicey.
So, did you have any other thoughts? Drew Ray Tanner is as gorgeous as ever.
So hot.
I love him.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just that part was kind of the least of the plots. So it's fine.
And then unfortunately, we did not have a Jughead and Sheriff Keller episode like we thought we were getting.
I'm actually glad about that.
Well, again, Sheriff Keller is one of the characters that we can't quite pinpoint what.
Well, he went negative in this episode again because he was like, well, your hero here, Ray Bradbury, or Brad Rayberry. I can't do it. He was a communist and he went to an asylum and he dodged the Korean War draft. And I'm a lot of people did
with
that.
All things, all due respect, all things considered, I mean, those are red flags for a person like Sheriff Keller in this time period.
But I don't think they automatically point to yes, he definitely killed himself.
It's a little odd because we have such a fondness for Sheriff Keller, and in my opinion, in the grand scheme of the show, he's a very present character. I would go ahead and say he's an important character, and he's largely a good character. Mm-hmm. So to be in this sort of gray area,
it was because he was so terrible last season.
Yeah,
because he got taken under by, I don't remember the man.
What was his name?
I don't remember.
The devil.
I don't care.
Well, we kind of liked it, but it
was interesting enough.
It's just kind of strange, but so. He kind of case closed, and so it's up to Jughead and Tabitha now to connect the dots. They come up with the idea that maybe he had a wife.
Percival,
right. They come up with the idea that maybe he had a wife, and sure enough, that was the case. Yeah. And also very strange to introduce this character, this Ray Bradbury character. Was he in 2 episodes?
He was in 3 or 4.
3?
Actually,
was it more?
Yeah.
Okay. He was in a couple episodes.
But only vaguely.
I guess we have a fondness for him, and we have a fondness for him in that he was Jughead's mentor of sorts.
Well, and a hero, his hero.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, it's so strange to be spending this much time on him, and also this was actually really sad.
Yeah.
They were doing a loving thing. Mm-hmm. All I can think of is the Ruth Nega, and where he was married to a black woman who was in South Carolina, and it was kind of a secret, and she didn't know he was dead. And so because
she's still living in South Carolina, because it was not safe for them to stay together. Mm-hmm. Although for me, I'm so bring her with you to Riverdale, because it's clearly she's going to be shunned by the whole town anyway if she stays. So apparently she's doing fine.
Yeah, in spite of my tone, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole thing, but I was like, it's a phrase you say sometimes where I was like, this is a lot of plot real estate.
Yeah.
That I'm not sure. And it was, I don't know the actress's name, but it was this beautiful actress that she did that thing that, well, I think the season has been...
Robin Fanfare?
Mm-hmm. She kind of came in and
she like gave her knowledge.
Yeah, well, I started to be like, she kind of did like the magical
she did
black lady thing, which is a little bit but I think that the show and the season has been doing really well overall. So it I don't know. It was just kind of a noteworthy point.
It worked.
Yeah, I liked it, and she kind of figured out that there was something between Jughead and Tabitha, which they still don't really know.
No, and apparently Tabitha's leaving to go back on the tour, the Emmett Till tour, so...
It was interesting.
I wonder if Jughead's going to actually send her homework.
We had a very, very strange closing scene where the neighbor, the like kind of nosy neighbor, came to get some milk for her cat because they heard the milkman, and they were very... I mean, the show showed its work. Yeah. She explained it, but it was there was a lot of assumptions being made that in this plot that all led to where we needed to be.
Yeah.
So Jughead now knows that there was a creepy milkman who came to his apartment and then didn't deliver or leave any milk.
Well, and he's like the only one besides Sheriff Keller that knows about Ethel's, like it was the milkman thing.
And it was that same actor. So they're someone is playing this role and they are showing him to us.
Yeah.
So there is that. Actually, there were 4. I said there were 3 stories. There was 4. Toni is still doing her club, her book club, philosophy club called Black Athena. It's going well. Cheryl was interested in it and want to participate in it.
Well, she just wanted to go. She was like, I won't even talk. I just want to spend time with you. And I thought that was very sweet.
Yeah. And this time I was actually a little bit on Toni's side because I was like, Toni was like, let me get it established first before.
That's fair.
You know, I completely agree. And Cheryl, of course, got her feelings hurt when she found out that Clay brought Kevin. But also I was like, that kind of just feels like I don't think Toni approved that. I think Clay just brought Kevin.
Yeah.
But we got a comment, and I think I agree. Or I agree with it that we hadn't fully been understanding Toni's plot this season. And the comment pointed out that they thought it was sort of like correcting some past issues that the show and the writing had specifically with Toni's character and her relationship with Cheryl. I understand that and I appreciate that. It wasn't evident or it wasn't obvious to us that that's kind of what they were doing.
I also think there are ways to go about it without making this version of Cheryl feel bad about herself for not being at the same point in her journey as Toni. You know what I mean? Like, she's still, like, can't be out. She's very new at it. And, like, that was the thing where I was like, Toni really was like, I need you to come out of the closet. And Cheryl was like one tiny toe out. And she was like, oh, I don't know that I can do something so heavy, like going steady with you. And it's like, bitch, I'm trying. Like,
it's a lot. I am quite frequently on a production side, like a TV show, the writers, the producers, the actors, all that. I'm frequently on their side, and I'm choosing kind of to be with this too, because they are juggling a lot of plots and characters and themes, more so. And they're all focused and coherent and consistent.
It's wild.
And so if this is one of the places where some of it feels a little thin, I think that's gonna happen. I think when you're doing so much ambitious and good work, there's bound to be some stuff that are kind of like, and then we ran out of time.
Yeah.
But I think in large swaths, I think it's working, and I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed Toni and Cheryl in this episode.
I did too. There were a couple of moments where I feel like they picked a weird take of Vanessa Morgan because she kept on making faces that, in my opinion, were like, oh no, I can't believe I'm gonna have to break up with Cheryl again, kind of like vibes.
I wasn't getting, I heard your reactions. If you want to watch along with us, we do live watch alongs on our Patreon at the $3 tier.
But it does not appear that that's the way it's like coming out. So I just got that like initially every time they cut to her face, she was like making a face that was like, oh, I'm glad that like Cheryl's broadening her horizons, but like, too bad, so sad. I don't need to be here for this. And so, like I said, it doesn't appear that that's the way they were going.
No, I didn't have that issue. But
it was sweet. She like,
and frankly, I mean, historically, in the grand scheme of 7 seasons of this show, Cheryl does kind of need to be taken down a peg.
Yeah, but I think what's interesting about this is that she was taking herself down a peg because she read Native Son with the rest of the group, and she was like, it was very powerful, and I really liked it, and I felt similar in a bad way to the rich white family. And like,
well, I was going to say,
doing the work.
Yeah, that was a level of self-awareness that was commendable for Cheryl to notice that and then to speak on it. I think was very interesting. And and
then like unnamed dude number 1 tried to smack her down for it, and I'm like, she is literally trying so hard right now.
But I think she can stand to be uncomfortable.
No, for sure. She can stand to be uncomfortable.
That's the other thing happening is it's like, unfortunately, this plot is just still so timely.
Yeah.
So it's like there was not a thing that happened in those meetings and those scenes that couldn't just be today.
Exactly. Even with the like the faculty advisor clearing her throat when they got onto like too touchy of a topic.
It just like, and so I think that's sort of what I'm getting at, where they are attempting to do so much with this story, and they're largely succeeding.
Yeah.
Even if maybe not everything is completely, crystal clear.
Yeah.
I don't think that would necessarily be possible to do with an ensemble like this.
Sure.
And then, it's not just 5 plots. The girl, Betty and Veronica, my favorite flavor. I love them as girlfriends. I love them doing this stuff.
Yeah. I do too. Betty. She literally, okay. They both get their dates. Betty, like, Archie gets, like, let off restriction or whatever, and so he gets his car back, and then he and Reggie just go on a date together. They go cruising together.
Baby, let's cruise. No way from here.
Archie and Reggie are dating.
Oh, I was quite literally going to be like, and then Archie and Reggie had sex and then felt weird about it and fought for the rest of the episode. Yeah. That was their plot.
So basically, Betty is like, hey, we can finally go on our date. And then Veronica is like, hey, I'm really sorry. Like, I still want to go on a date. And so Archie lends his car to Reggie to take Veronica out on a date. So he can't take Betty. So they end up walking to Pop's, where Archie has literal ants in his pants about, he is like up and down and moving around and looking out the window and like, where could he be? There's nowhere else to go but Pop's. It was hysterical.
So the car is a stand-in for Fred.
Yeah.
And
kind of Reggie's parents, because he's feeling homesick.
Kind of paralleling the Toni and Cheryl. They did a lot.
They did.
With this episode and this plot. They were covering a lot of ground, and they did it pretty well, considering the plot on the surface was so silly.
Yeah.
Because it was partially a love letter to Fred and thus Luke Perry. It also was a little bit, I think, because KJ Apa and Charles Melton are like best girls. They're like best friends. And they haven't gotten a lot of, because Reggie is frequently an antagonist.
He is, yeah.
And so this episode, I feel like, was the show's kind of tribute to them, where they actually got to be
like silly and
the
playful,
boys. Yeah, I really loved it. Archie is continuing to shine. It is so, I just love how low the stakes are.
Yeah.
But it's not about what it's about.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the fun of this season. Is that the plots aren't about what they're about.
Yeah.
They're about the show and the characters 100%. As a whole, which is such a mwah for a final season.
Especially like let's say, because we're getting to a point where if we don't go back in time soon, there's not going to be enough time to go like Back to the Future. So if this just is the last season,
just
I mean,
you're almost fiending for that to be the case.
Tie-in to the like larger series as a whole. I mean, I almost kind of love that more than anything. But I do. So like basically, Betty and Veronica both end up going on dates with the boys, and both of them are pretty lackluster because Veronica, Reggie just took her cruising around, and Archie couldn't stop talking about his car and Reggie. So they decide to go on a double date the next night to Fangs' concert in Centerville, but first they'll get food. And then they did make the grave mistake of stopping by the newsstand. So the boys had a car magazine.
So Betty and Veronica just watched them diddle each other with the car magazine.
I mean, so they end up going, and that's where the fight like sort of culminates because Reggie...
Betty had a keyhole, like...
Because literally for the first night of bad dates, Betty was like, maybe we should just swap and try again. And I was like, all Betty wants is to just get railed.
We're moments away from Betty being to Veronica, maybe we should kiss.
Maybe we should kiss to break the tension. So anyway, they end up running out of gas because Reggie didn't fill it up. And so the girls stay while the guys go back and have the most hysterical fist fight on the road. It's so funny. And then Cheryl, Toni, and Midge end up picking the girls up, and they go to the concert alone. And the boys,
which went off without a hitch,
don't know where they are. And so once they've gotten gas, though, Pop does have like just a spare jalopy lying around that Reggie can have. She spit everywhere.
Sorry.
So, Reggie starts trying to fix it.
I said in the episode, I was like, none of these people deserve Pop.
Like, okay, maybe Jughead, but it's because he accounts for like 90% of Pop's business.
He's not paying Pop.
I mean,
with what money?
He's making money at Pep Comics now. So yeah, so they end up. So Reggie is like fixing up the car when Archie comes to find him the next day, and he has asked Betty to help him fix up the car. And Archie does not know what to do. It's his little like dancing, like uncomfortable, nervous. Like, it's so funny. So funny. I don't know.
I just can't. They're just using the toys that they have.
Yeah.
Like they're using the tools they have in ways that we've always kind of wanted.
Yeah.
And Betty comes out in her like not
her little shop,
her Rosie the Riveter thing. And I even said in our thing, I was like, Lily is so beautiful, like so femme beautiful, that I forget that she can also do butch really well. Like,
and I leaned over to you and I was like, do you remember when Betty was the shop teacher last year?
You were waiting for the entire episode.
I was like, Betty fixes a car? Betty fixes the car?
Yeah. Fred also, Frank,
yeah.
Whatever stick was all the way up his ass is out now.
Well,
I don't know.
Archie's making bees, so apparently that's all we needed.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then also, Brad Rayberry's wife said that Jughead could keep adapting his stories. So he was excited about that. And that she was going to try to get the book published because that was in the last letter that he sent to her, is that he wanted his book published. But yeah, I mean, the Betty, Veronica, Archie, Reggie stuff was like next level. And I swear, like if Betty doesn't get dick down soon, I feel like she's going to explode.
This is it's also just great for Charles because we've always liked Charles Melton.
Yeah.
And we've liked the idea of Reggie, but I just think so few times has it landed.
Yeah.
That even though he's only been on 3 episodes, it's been...
This is landing.
Yeah.
Reggie is landing.
It's been great.
Yeah.
We are 10 for 10. We are continuing to have the time of our lives with this fucking show.
Yeah. And next week is the last dated episode on IMDb, and it's a Halloween episode, so that'll be fun too.
That's going to be so much fun. So yeah, still loving it.
Yeah, super, a lot.
So let us know what you think. Please like and subscribe, Patreon, Cashapp, Venmo, all that stuff. Leave a comment, and hopefully we see you back next week.
Bye.